G'day everybody, it's Peps, it's J-Dog, and you know what time it is. Lace out, round 9 review. It's your host here, Chris Pepper, the 377-game superstar of the East Keeler Football Club. Joining me is the co-host with the most, the man that you love, the man you want to be with, Jamie the J-Dog Wallis. How are you, sir? And more importantly, what a cracking round of AFL football it was on the weekend.
Peps, I am well, other than the system trying to completely nuke itself as we go live, which is, Peps, that's what they say in the industry. It's live TV.
Never work with technology, kids, or animals.
Or Jamie.
Or me. That's why we had to. That's why we resigned from each other many years ago. But hey, listen, mate. Look, we just had some technical difficulties. We're all good now. So everybody joining us back online, thank you very much. Take 2 action is coming online. For the people listening to this on our podcast, thank you very much for joining us once again. We do this because of you. You love it. We love it. It's as simple as that. So whether you're finding us on iTunes, whether you're finding us on Spotify, Pocket Casts, you name it, whether you're in Australia or whether you're overseas, thank you very much. Because like I said, without you, we don't have a show. Second of all, for everybody joining on the stream tonight, ask your questions. Plenty to talk about. Plenty of talking points. We've got many to get through. Bit of housekeeping before we get this bad boy rolling again. First, remember, if you want that new footy, get on to sharon.com.au. We've still got our 30% off. Lace out. Type it in the checkout. Get 30% off. Jamie, what's that?
Half price.
Virtually half price. More importantly, brand new competition to let you all know about later in the show, which is going to take you back to your childhoods. Because I tell you what, when I got this in my hands on the weekend, I just wanted to rip it open, but I'm holding it out for the listeners out there. So just stay tuned. And last but not least, this will be the last week of our listener survey. So if you haven't got on there, the link is in the show notes. Just jump on there. We've got one question, which is simply, why us? Why Lace Out? Why do you listen to us each and every single week? We want to know what you want and what we know we can do better. So we'll hand that over to you, but I reckon it's time now to get into it, mate. It's time to go around the grounds. It's time to talk of the news of the week. And there's only, forget Sam McClure, forget Sam Evans. My goodness, Dwayne Russell, the love muscle. Forget him, because we have the real news, man. We have Jamie the J-Dog Wallis bringing you around the grounds, the news of the week.
Right, Peps, let's it might make an appearance later on for both of us in our lists. Hat's crooked now. Let's start with the biggest non-story to anyone who's actually played a game of football or played anything in sports before.
Any sport.
Let's talk about the Degoe touch-up. Peps, this is what an absolute beat-up this story is. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I understand that out there is consensual touch and all those types of things, but surely we're talking about a different type of arena and context to what we're talking about here. This is a sporting team.
Oh, look, it's a sporting thing. I opened up, I threw on the TV to watch the start of the game. It was going to be a belter. The Swans versus the Pies. They show the behind-the-scenes footage, and next minute there is Jordan de Grady, who went from Jordan de Gooey, giving a little bit of Isaac Quain or a little bit of a tappity tap on the cheeks. And I tell you what, it literally...
Right in front of me! Right in front of me!
It literally happened right in front of me. And I went, oh, good on him. He's revving the boys up. Bucks has given his last minute. Come on, Quainer. Come on, Steele. Come on, Pendles. That basketball background. It's going to deliver us another win. Quains, you can do it. You're due for a big one. He's just giving him a bit of a tap on the arse. God, let's go before we go out into the heat of battle. My goodness, it must have been a slow week. You wouldn't think that there were no games of football played. Because if this was storm in a teacup, like seriously,
there's nothing
can they do anything?
Can they do anything about it? There was anything to do with that. It was just purely in the sporting moment.
He didn't drop the Hopawate, all right? There was no prostates being checked. Nothing along those sorts.
No.
And I was having a chat to one of the guys on the weekend about this, and he made a good comment. He goes, "Would you see that? What would happen if that happened in the AFLW? Would it have been such a furor if it happened from the AFLW standpoint?"
I just think it's such a non-issue that we make it a big issue.
It's a waste, and the fact that we've dedicated around about 2.5 minutes on this we have to address it, but we just want to let everybody know that, yes, we are trying to, stop all that sort of crap going on in the world and, try and make it for everybody to watch. But goodness gracious, you're going into their inner sanctum just before a game. They're allowed to give it a bit of a snappity snaps on the cheeks to get them fired up. Nothing to see here. Robbo, nothing to see here. Move on, J-Dog.
Peps, you and I are two middle-aged white men. We may be reading this completely wrong, but for me, I just see it as nothing sexual, context of sport.
Sexual? He just gave him a little bit of a tappity tap tap rub rub squeeze squeeze. Like goodness gracious,
Peps.
That's what blokes do in the footy change rooms.
Hey, it's a modern world, Peps. It's a modern world. You and I could be dinosaurs.
Just because it's a modern world doesn't make it the best world. That's another conversation for another day.
All right,
Jay. What's next, mate? What's next?
Next one. Something you put on the agenda is some clubs are starting to come out first third of the season and starting to splash some cash.
They are splashing the cash, J-Dog. Yes, it was interesting just to let, even coming on the show tonight, watching the news to try and, this is where the real news is. This is where you get it around the ground. But to do some research before some massive news. Petrarca, we know, had his 7-year contract earlier on. Massive things. Melbourne have also signed up Oliver, Gordon, Salem, like Mickey Mouse, Jack Viney as well too. But as this show has virtually gone to air, Max King looks like he has signed a 4-year contract.
Oh my God.
For $3 million a year. He's played, 12 games?
And can't kick.
Oh,
that could be something.
He kicks 1.7 and gets 900. Imagine if he could kick straight. Goodness gracious. St Kilda must be desperate. Look, he's going to be a good player if he can. If he can kick straight, he'll be a gun. Mind you, though, he did have a good night as well, too. 6 marks in the inside 50, 10 marks for the game. He just couldn't kick straight. He could have had a bag, a proper bag. He could have had 6.
Got a couple of Port boys on the thing tonight. Got Craigie and Nick. If this guy doesn't scream to us Port boys here, Port to Port, John Butcher, I don't know what does. Could be anything, but can't kick.
John Butcher. I was a big fan of John Butcher. I just couldn't kick. Like I said, I think Ben King is the better king. I think the Gold Coast King is the better king. I'll always go with that. Because he can kick straight. Doesn't matter if you can clunk him, you've got to sink him. And he couldn't do that. So he's getting close to $3 million over 4 years for kicking inaccurately. Jesus Christ. I would have been on 1.8 if they saw me kick. Harry Mackay. Apparently Carlton are lowballing him at the moment. Something along the lines of $850 a season. Low ball for Harry Mackay.
Peps. Let's pause there.
Yep.
If another club came looking for Harry Mackay on lesser money than what he's being lowballed at the moment, what would you do on a reflection now of Peps, a 30-something plus year old man? Would you take the lower offer and play for another club, or would you take the money to stay at Carlton because they look like shit?
Okay, so this is an interesting question, and I think it's a decisive question. So I'm going to throw this one open to the chat, throw the people on the Facebook page. When you hear this, we want to hear. It might even be the listener question for this week. Would you take more money to stay at a crap club, or would you take less money to go to a better club or a different club? Okay,
maybe.
So that's the thing. Give me a club. See, this is the thing that you got to look at. What club are we going to? Because there's a couple of factors in here. It's got to be a club of the future. It's got to be a club which is on the rise. And you want to be playing in a team where you're going to be first, at worst case, second fiddle. If you're going to be third string, no.
So let's go like a...
I've got one for you straight away.
All right.
Fremantle. Fremantle tried Jesse.
Good one.
Fremantle tried Jesse Hogan. Didn't work. So would you stay for $850 a year at Carlton, or would you go to $850 over 4, or would you go $800 over 5 to go to Fremantle? Even $750 over 5 to go to Fremantle. I reckon they got to pay him to get out. So let's make it $850.
What about GWS?
Get that extra year. GWS have got Hogan up there at the moment. They're not exactly struggling.
I would think that.
But they've got Himmelberg, they've got Finlayson. I get that.
He'd be ahead of all those guys.
But Fremantle are struggling for somebody to go out and work out with Taberner.
I'm not against
That's a perfect one, I reckon. The other one I could think of might be Essendon. Hookers, maybe 2 years, 3 years
Yeah,
at the
2, 3
most,
away,
maybe.
yep.
Max, we know that the big, tall, lanky bugger. He's not too shabby. I keep forgetting his name. Hasn't got a rising star. They're on the rise. They picked up some rippers over the years. Last draft.
Mm-hmm.
But would you go to Essendon? I would. I wouldn't stay at
Yeah.
Carlton.
Okay.
If they're going to give money out,
that's your
I watch Carlton live on the weekend, and how the fact that Adam Sard has got what 650, 700 a year
Yeah.
for what he
Zach
does,
Williams-
and
Zach
Zach
Williams,
Williams is on
800.
850 or whatever.
Yeah.
My goodness, you've screwed that one up big time.
I
Big time. Your money went to the wrong one.
I do like little Nick's comment in here about a club with pride
Nick
and
Cox,
future.
thanks, Daz. Gary Mulligan on the chat. Nick Cox, he was the one I was thinking about. 2 meters tall, can run, can kick, potential gun forward right there. And they got Archie Perkins who can play as well too. So throw him up there. Ooh.
So who else has spent some money? Because there's been some other money at Carlton.
Yes, Cripsy. Cripsy's been extended for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Money hasn't been released at this stage, but once again, who do you put in order? You've got Cripps, you've got Mackay, and then you got Walsh that you got to try and work out as well too. So there's a bit of going on there. Couple other ones. Zach Merritt. He wasn't too convincing that he wants to stay at Essendon, does he? On his interview on the weekend, not at all. He's been there for 6 years. I think you got some idea what the place is like. I think you got some idea what the coach is like because he's been there for a couple already.
Mm-hmm.
You're 9 games into the season. You pretty much know where the team's going to be. I don't think he wants to stay there. It wasn't too definitive. So that's going to be an interesting one to see where that goes. And last but not least, just at a very, very high level, the Bont, that's expected to be signed off very, very shortly. I think they're just working out the paperwork. He's an absolute gunner. He can have what he wants. And the other one, which was an interesting one.
What would you pay him? Would you make Bont the highest paid player in the
Oh,
AFL?
no doubt. In the IFL,
Mm-hmm.
I can't go behind Dusty, but the Bont,
You reckon Dusty's worth more at the current state?
I do think so, yeah. Dusty's got tats and a sick haircut. People want that as their brand. Let's be honest. All right. The Bont, from a purely football perspective, he should be top 5 paid players. This year has been sensational for him as well too. But the other one is Sam Wiedemann played his first game for the D's on the weekend.
Yes.
Did okay. It wasn't the greatest conditions out there, but he's another one that have had a few clubs asking about him.
Yep.
I think it's going to be out of him and Ben Brown because, geez, if you could tell me what I've gone blank.
A couple of seasons ago, I would never have said that Ben Brown's going to push out Wiedemann from Melbourne in the forward line.
I think what happened was Tommy McDonald, after his preseason, what he's done this year, has just blown the gates open on that and has ruined everything. So that'll be interesting to see. He's in All-Australian form, and I never thought I'd say that after his last couple of years too. So there's a bit of contract, more Splash the Cash. We might do Splash the Cash every week just to sort of give a bit of an overview of the contracts coming up because there is a lot of being money thrown around. A lot of it deserved, but some of it you just sort of go, oh, geez, you're paying a little bit too much. And there's another guy whose contract's coming up, but I'm going to leave him for who's going to be getting some votes from me this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
All right, J-Dog, who's next? Now, you've got something here about kicking. Talk to me about kicking.
Peps, I watched Friday night's game and I watched right through to the little show after the game. It goes after and after the game, where Nick D'Alessandro, Tom Morris, and I think it's David King usually, but it might have been someone different.
Kingy,
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, they were having a bit of a roundtable discussion, and D'Alessandro just decided to crack it. And what he said, Peps, made me think of you instantly and our constant bars about athletes, not
versus footballers. I take footballers any day of the week.
So
nailed it.
Can I
you
just
go for
read
it, mate,
this?
because I'm just going to sit back and, as Gary Lyon would go, suck on a big stogie.
As people say, I look a bit like D'Alessandro with my no lips. So he just says,
hairline.
Enough is enough. This game is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and we are diluting it with our inability to kick goals. We have gone so far in one particular way. We love people who can run. We love people with pressure. How about you kick the damn thing straight? That's a good starting point.
Mate,
Peps,
they're paying They're paying a guy $3 million over 4 years who's played something like 12 games and kicked 1 goal, 7 on the weekend. Lick my love pump, buddy. That is just out of control.
Peps, to quote Dalsano again, I'm emotional because this shouldn't happen at this level. This is the top 1% of the competition that can't do the fundamentals of the game correctly.
Do you know how many times, do you watch a game and just watch players who always turn back onto their favourite foot?
Yep.
Even though it is the worst decision that they could possibly make.
Yeah, make the ankle tighter.
To make the ankle tighter, or people know that he's a right footer, so they go to that side.
Yeah.
When they could smack it on their left.
Yeah.
You can sort of understand why people, and once again, I go back to my club, are just loving what Mark Williams has brought to the club because his major focus has been kicking, the kicking, and has made such a difference. I'm watching people like Jaden Hunt and Ed Langdon, who couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat for the last couple of years, hitting targets on the run at full pelt. It especially with such a sharp kicking game. Hawthorn did it in their dynasty. James Hird was a gun on both feet. Diesel was a gun on both feet. You go back to the 80s. We talk about 80s football, 90s football. Both sides of the body. If you couldn't, when you were growing up, it was both sides of the body. And now you hear coaches like, well, it doesn't really matter if they don't go onto their right side, the opposite side of the body because they're that good. But it doesn't work like that.
I remember having nights of training where you're just kicking with the other side of your body.
We don't do that anymore, Jamie. Why? It's too hard. Who cares though? But that's the thing. How are you supposed to get better at something if you don't practice it? He's 100% correct.
He is correct.
And you're seeing people try and check sides. You're seeing people trying to, they're running towards the boundary but go on their wrong foot instead of angling it back in. They're trying to go off the side of their feet. It stuffs it up even more and you look like a complete fool. There's just no place in it. And you know what? In the good old days when we were running around for the old EK Cougars, if we didn't go on our opposite foot, we would be berated for trying to do smart-ass kicks.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10 times, they never come off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke. It is an absolute joke. And I'm in agreement with him. Something chronic. They even spoke on 3AW as well that day. And they were talking about this. And I said, what is the biggest skill? If you could train kids now, what would be the biggest skill that you would make sure? And they just said kicking. It's a kicking game now. It is a kicking game to cut through defenses. You can bullet a kick 30, 35, lace out. That's how you want your footy. We just didn't name the show after a fluff. We actually had some merit and thought about this. They said it's kicking. Tony Shaw said it. Lee Matthews said it. Richo said it. They were all saying kicking is the number one skill that they should be.
Yeah.
Diesel wasn't fast, was he? But geez, he was laser-like with his kicking. Yeah. Stewie Jew, go back and watch that second quarter of what he did in that grand final. Blew Geelong away with some laser kicking. Okay?
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And, I do more goal kicking from 30 metres out. Don't go try pinging them from the boundary line each and every week.
Yeah. Peps, I agree. It's that game on Friday night, St Kilda had the first 6 shots on goal and kicked 6 behinds. And then I think maybe one on the falling out as well. It's just...
Mate, they kicked 5 goals, 17. They had 22 scoring shots to 18 and got beaten by 21 points. That's a joke. I'm sorry, that is a joke.
And what they go down by Geelong?
Football.
What do they go down to by Geelong? Less than 5 goals.
Less than 5 6 And you can't tell me that 6 of those goals were kickable. Yep. Exactly right. All right.
It's a shitty thing about our game, Peps.
It's a shitstorm because once again we've gone down this route, like you said, we've been going down this route about getting athletes and it's backfired completely. Hey, geez, they can run, but they can't. They can't kick a ball. Can't kick a ball. Unbelievable, mate. What's next, mate? What do you got next for us? Because, mate, you've come up with some belters so far.
Maybe a good news story, Peps, because you don't often hear this person's name associated to a good news story. But Ben Cousins has had a return to footy park after a 10-year hiatus away from the footy field, making an appearance for the Perth Metro Football League. He played for the Queen's Park Bulldogs over the weekend, kicking a goal on debut and setting up another for the competition's reigning champion. So not bad for a 42-year-old, 10 years off. And then he still looked like he was.
Can I say it? That was his rig.
You can say he still
Shit.
looked amazing.
Did you like, get a bit of movement when you saw how good he was looking?
Well,
Made me look in the mirror and go, Peps, what have you done? What have you done at 42? He's only 3 years younger than me, and oh my goodness.
I tell you what, we need to do a podcast between the Shark and Benny Cousins to ask him how do they do it.
I probably don't want to ask Ben how he gets his body so ripped. Probably wouldn't go down that well. But we might go and ask the Shark and figure out if he can work it out. But it is unbelievable. And you know what? It is a good news story. If it just helps him, just take his mind off things, get him back on track. That's all we can ask for. That is all we can ask for. Hey, can I bring another one out too? Just a great footy story. Tyrone Vickery.
Yes.
I think he's come out and kicked 11 on the weekend.
Yeah.
Mate, see, it helps when you can actually see the ball. Like actually see the ball, the real ball. And if you notice, he's got the 10% added toughness on his arm now. So maybe that was the missing ingredient, 10% added toughness.
Oh, I don't think... Isn't Tyrone Vickery... Wasn't that a bikey story mixed in there with Tyrone Vickery and tattoos?
I don't know, mate. I don't want to know. Jamie?
I'm pretty sure there was a bashing in here somewhere, this story with Tyrone Vickery. If I'm wrong, listeners, can you remember the story?
Maybe. I don't know, J-Dog. I have no idea. But
So he has great tats. He's great tats.
Got great tats, and whoever did them, you're a great tattooist as well too. I'll be if Mel. Yep.
Peps, who was the other player that's gone back to Bush League and had 139 tap outs or something over the weekend?
Oh, he had 133 tap outs and 300 ranking points, and their team still lost.
Who was that again?
Oh, I can't remember, but it was another news story that happened throughout the channel. So look, just tell us some of the stories that are going out there in the regional leagues. Good old East Keeler had another 70-point win on the weekend. They're just going okay at the moment. Heath Shaw will be back this week after his stint on SAS.
Peps,
Can't ask much more than that.
Let's go through some of the questions from the listeners. You got any questions up there just to quickly look at some of the comments?
Yeah, Shit Kilda's come back. Shit Kilda's. Tommy Roker up there in Queensland's just done the old Shit Kilda's come back. And I'm like, yeah, they did come back. The MRO, there's something that I wanted to quickly bring up. The MRO.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with them?
In terms of...
Do you have any idea what people are going to get done for and what people are not going to get done for?
Peps, as someone once said, what is the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I have given up.
And getting it and hoping for a different result?
Exactly. I have given up trying to understand the MRO process. I have given up. I am done with it.
It's just, I don't get it. I have no idea. So Taron Thomas did get off, if anybody is listening, about his bump, and there was really nothing in it. Like, the guy got up straight away. It was just a bump. That was all it was.
Mm-hmm.
What cracks me up is that Finlayson threw an elbow last week and got a week for that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can sling someone to the ground like Scott Lycett does and get, 4 weeks for that? Was it 4?
Or you can elbow to the face like Fritch and get off and concuss the guy.
He didn't concuss the guy. All right. Or you could be a Tommy Hawkins and throw one and hit him straight behind and bust someone's eye open for a week. But then there's other ones where, like, Tom McDonald dropped his knee onto someone this week, got $2,000.
Yeah.
All right. But Mumford's been doing that for years and hasn't been sanctioned for it.
Mumford's clumsy, according to the
that's
media.
right. Clumsy. Okay. But what's even on top of that? If you watched on the weekend, Bailey Fritch got body slammed in the goal square, got literally flipped upside down, and it wasn't even raised. So I got no idea. Like, you can rest a knee on somebody's chest, get $2,000, flip them all around. It's absolute bullshit. It's Krav Maga, Peps. Someone was saying it's Krav Maga self-defense. No, it wasn't. They did a lot more. It was pick a card, any card, Joe Jovanovic. Yeah, I love Big Joe. He's a superstar, joins us every week. Tell Donna we said hi. That's his wife. Rightio. Okay. I think it's time for us to spin the magnets, mate. I think it's time for us to get out there, get and have a look at who's getting the votes this week. Who's going to be getting dragged? Where do you want to start, mate? Do you want to start with the votes or do you want to start with your who's going to be getting pulled from the field today?
Let's go with your 3 votes for...
All right. So let's... 3 votes?
3
That
votes.
means one thing. What was that?
3 votes.
3 votes, rightio. So my 3 votes, I'll start with mine and then we'll go on to you. So my 3 votes, I actually have an honorary 3 votes, an honorary vote, okay? And give it to Zach Tui. Anytime someone drops a torp, the last torp I saw kicked this flush was Sam Frost in the 2018 semi-final against the Hawks. He has flushed that on Friday night, a good 70. We need more barrels in the game, especially under the dome. Love Billy Thorpe. Do them more often, especially with the wet ball. You're going to get the nice spin. Rightio. So I'm going to give 1 vote. 1 vote is going to a guy who, let's be honest, he doesn't play in the best team. They are up and coming. They're going to be down the bottom of the ladder again. I don't think they've played a final since colour television. We're talking about Essendon here, but I want to pick out one bloke who, look, I've got stuck into him a little bit over the years because, you know, Essendon could have had Clayton Oliver, but they went with this bloke. Darcy Parish. Since he cut his hair and doesn't look like a little girl anymore, he looks like a stand-up young man, 23-year-old, he has had an all-Australian season. By choice, they had to move him into, actually by necessity, they had to move him into the midfield. And the numbers that he has racked up so far this year have been sensational. His game on the weekend against Fremantle, 131 ranking points, 1 goal, 39 disposals, 4 marks, 4 tackles, no hit-outs. Bit lazy on that perspective. 10 clearances, 459 metres gained. He was on the ground for 84%, but more importantly, he had a goal assist chucked in there. He is just stepping up, and he is playing the football that Shield should be playing. Should be playing the little fella as well, too, that they got from GWS. What's his name? Number 5. Not Dylan Shield. Oh, God. You know him if you saw him. He's just playing great football. Zach Merritt, he should be, with Andy McGrath, Zach Merritt won't be there next year. He's going to stand up and play some awesome footy. So, Darcy Parish, I'm giving you the kudos where it's well-deserved. What I'm also going to be giving is my 2 votes. I'm giving this guy to a West Coast. So, we were talking a little bit earlier about bags, and we're talking about how Max King could have had 5. Devon Smith was the one I was talking about. Thank you very much, Charlie Keegan, absolute supporter of the show. I was talking about Max King, how he kicked 1 goal, 7 over the course of the game. How about a guy called Jack Darling who in 17 minutes kicked 5 goals?
Yep.
In a quarter. He was the difference. He demoralised the opposition on the weekend. Adelaide weren't too bad, but he was the difference between the two, and he was absolutely sensational. He is built like a block of flats.
He's huge.
Like, he's a big unit. So good luck anyone playing on him for the season because he is massive. And if West Coast, Kennedy's not getting any younger, Oscar Allen is a little bit, he needs to step up to take over. All right. And the last one I really want to put out there, look, you can only give 3 votes to one team this week, and that's got to be North Melbourne. They have their first win for the season. Kanga supporters are absolutely going berserk. The players didn't even know the song, but it doesn't really matter. They won by 7 points. They get their first win for the year. Look, regardless if you didn't barrack for them or you do barrack for them, congratulations, North, because I have played through a season where we didn't win a game, and it sucks. And so to at least have one, it makes you that, you know, everything that you've worked for, the messages that are coming from your brand new coach, yeah, awesome stuff. So congratulations, North. You get my 3 votes.
Look who's on the trade table again after that. Old Chatty Wingard.
Oh, Chatty the Chad. Oh, Chatty. Unbelievable, mate. All right. So who's getting your 3 votes?
All right. Am I going to go from 3 down or 1 up?
No, you go from you got to go from the 1, mate. Don't you watch the Brownlow?
Just go. I'm fine with that.
Start with 1.
All right. My 1 vote goes to Melbourne. 9-0. There's nothing not to love about that. First time they've done that since 1956. which was the last time you guys won a premiership. So
That was 1964 was our last premiership.
was it 1964? Was it? So
Yes.
if we're looking at the planets aligning, we're starting to get this 9, and then this, because Peps, last time you guys did this was a year you won a premiership. So let's go. Let's take the lid off, Peps.
Mate, I can't get the lid off because if
Let's
it was
take
any
the
other
lid
team,
off.
you'd have the lid off. Like I took the lid off a couple of weeks ago. But the worst thing is that actually I wouldn't mind a loss because then it's like real, but at the moment it doesn't feel real at all. 9-0, sitting at top of the ladder. It's like when you get to the anticipation of going up on a roller coaster.
Peps.
We're teetering at the moment because I don't want to go over the edge and fall over. I just want us to lock in a top 4 spot and then I'll be happy.
Peps, we're talking premiership. Let's get excited. Let's book the tickets.
Oh, dude.
Let's
You
go and stand.
You won't see me for a week. Big Trev and I will be at the tat joint getting big back jobs. Oh, it'll be going off.
So they're going to my number 1 because I think that 9-0 is bloody exciting.
It is exciting. We play Adelaide this week, and look, hopefully we can go 10-0. Take 1 week at a time. But it'd be really good to play the doggies on that Friday night. 10-0 versus 9-1. Be a cracking game.
Number 2 vote for me goes to Marcus Bontempelli. I mean, I don't know what can be said about this guy that hasn't been said about him before.
How is he not the Brownlow? How is he not the Brownlow favourite at the moment?
I don't get it. I mean, I had Dusty here as like a little slash or Dusty, but Bont for me is a complete package player across all 4 quarters. Dusty can do the 1 quarter magic. Bont does it all game.
I'm telling you now, after watching them a couple times, I will keep saying it. You stop Dusty, you stop Richmond. It's as simple as that.
Yep. So for me, Bont gets my 2 votes because I just think he's an absolute stud in the AFL. And number 3 for me, I went early on Saturday morning when I posted the footage on our Lace Out page. But anytime you're going to have the G train, is always going to get my 3 votes. Not only was
He's on fire!
Not only do you get one of the most awkward crosses for Deliveroo you've ever seen on live TV, but he gave a pie away to a young bloke. Like,
and I think after it, he also gave the guy a
High five.
like, how good is it? He was doing something for Deliveroo, and he's just dropped the 4 and 20 in his hand and go, there you go, young fella, have that.
he's just the
Freaking
best.
sensational.
He's just
love
the
him.
best G-Train.
Just get on the G-Train highlights on YouTube. It is nuts just how good it was.
I'll tell you what, I might even, because I'm going bald, I might even shave this bit off and just get the G-Train flap
Get the
going.
G-Train moulet going. Go for it. Go for it.
God, he's good. I love
Just
the
love
G-Train.
it.
I just love him.
I think he's gone from a slick bullet train to a diesel powered V-line, looking like his physique. I don't think he's been running the track for a while.
Tommy here does mention a really good point though. Yeah. Where's the sauce?
Oh yeah, well,
it's a bit weird, a bit dry, a bit dry pie, kind of dry pie.
Can I just say one thing though?
Yeah.
If I saw that my Deliveroo person was going to be G-Train, I'd probably ask for somebody else because I'm tipping that if he was delivering it by bike or by foot, it wouldn't be there while the food's warm. It'd be getting to me cold. Ralston, put the oven on heat mode. We're going. We have to wait. The G-Train's delivering tonight.
Hey, lock the ladies away.
Put your sauce away.
If the G-Train's coming to the front door.
Oh, stop at all stations.
Oh.
Hello. Rightio. Okay, so let's get into. I think our main man's there. I think he's knocking at the door. Oh, there he is. Hold on, let me just go get him.
Haley off, Ellingworth on.
Rightio. It's just so awesome. Bloody weak as piss. All right, time to get dragged. All right, so honorary mention. Max King. 1 goal 7. You could have got 3 Brownlow votes on Friday night. 1 goal 7 is not good enough. If you're going to do that every week, you're only going to be worth $900,000 a season. I'm sorry, you're not worth more than that. Alrighty. Right, so one vote goes to the Gold Coast. Just when I think that my boys up there in the Gold Coast are just setting me up, they're freaking, once again, Gold Coast are like going to the strippers. They tease, and then they just let you down. They were putrid against the Lions. Disgusting. Like, they got pumped. 70-plus points.
Why don't you remind the listeners how good they're going and how it's a success story, Peps?
Look, they're still higher than Essendon, and they're still higher than Hawthorn and Kangaroo. So, but that was, even Dewey said that it's just their credibility in the league goes backwards when they put in performances like that. And I agree. Yeah, no Tuke Miller, no Gold Coast, no Rowell, no Gold Coast. They just weren't working hard enough behind the ball. A couple of their high draft picks need to realise that this is not under 18 football anymore. You have to work both ways. Okay,
Yeah, you can't just play chase ball. Yeah,
exactly right. Okay, 2 votes. This is going across the AFL, dripping a little bit down to the umpires. We've spoken about this when it comes to free kicks, but the holding the ball is getting beyond the joke now. I can't understand how a game can have 80-plus tackles and only get rewarded for 3 of them on a Friday, yet the game on Sunday had 21 holding/dropping the ball. That's just, and personally, I would prefer option B, because as soon as the dropping the ball is given, the ball gets up, the scrimmage around the ball disperses, and everybody has to run. When the umpire leaves it, that maul just continues. The quickest way to stop that occurring is just to grab the ball and throw it up. But once again, the AFL umpire comes in. Hey, John, are you going up? Hey, Peter, are you going up? They're both 6'9". Who else in the hell's going up? Just throw the freaking thing up. Okay, but there's got to be more ball. This whole thing where they've made an attempt, there was somewhere there wasn't. The ball was missing the player's foot by 3-4 inches.
Yeah,
and they were saying play on. Like, it's enough is enough. If you go read the rules, if they make an attempt and it doesn't connect, it's dropping the ball. Not as if they had an attempt. If you get caught and you try to get rid of it and you don't make connection, it's dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you have to have an opportunity to get rid of it, but not 3 spins in the pike position and then let it go.
Yeah.
If you don't connect, too bad. So 2 votes for them. And last, I hate to do this, J-Dog. Port Adelaide. The flat track bullies have come out again. You've said it many, many weeks. It's been written up by about 5 or 6 people on the chat tonight.
What?
Port Adelaide.
Hold up.
Flat track bullies again.
1 vote this week.
All right, we might as well just continue. So they got 4 votes this week. That's 4 votes. That's a record. Tell me, mate, what's wrong?
Mate,
apparently Charlie Dixon has kicked 1 goal this year against top 8 teams.
Yeah, we kicked 2 the other night in the
I
fourth
kicked
quarter.
2. Do you know?
It was a dead game.
Do you know the other McDonald who plays for Carlton? He's kicked 2 goals. Yeah, not Tom McDonald, the other one. He's kicked 2 goals against top 8 teams. So he's just as good as Charlie Dixon at the moment.
Look, this Peps, I'm gonna have my say on Charlie Dixon. You know that I don't have a huge rap on the big man. I love him, but I don't. As a footballer, I don't think he's much chop.
He's got STS, mate. STS.
As he does have that.
Shit tap syndrome.
This
Oscar
guy
McDonald.
here is getting paid $800,000 a season to go for a mark and bring the ball to ground. Peps, put me in that position. I'll pay for you for a meat pie, a can of Coke, and a rum ball after the game. Like, if that's my job requirement to bring the ball to ground, you can put any person in that role.
Yeah, because you can't mark.
I don't have to.
You'll see better hands on a clock when it comes to you.
I don't have to mark. As long as I get the ball to ground, I'm essentially fulfilling his role, because he hasn't had a 40-plus goal season, and he's a full forward.
It's a joke,
he's
isn't it?
Full forward.
That's
and
2 goals a game.
40-plus season.
That's 2 goals a game.
Has not had a 40-season goal as a full forward in a club.
Hey, Charlie Keegan said Port should recruit the G train. Damn right.
Oh, don't even. I couldn't even do the podcast. I'd be drained every night.
Be deliver G. Oh,
So Peps, that tag of flat track balls is absolutely 100% correct. I don't understand. I'm going off here. Sorry. I don't understand how in 2020.
hold on.
I'm not ranting again.
No, hold on. Yeah. Jamie in the fry. The heat's on, the grill's on, the fry pan is cooking. Go for it, J-Dog.
I don't. Peps, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of what I don't understand about Port Adelaide. 2013, 2014. Remember back to those days, Port? Peps, when you and I were fighting about our teams?
Yep.
We had exciting football. We had overlap. We had carry. We had dash. We took Hawthorn right to the end of that prelim final. We had a game plan that could have ripped apart the AFL. 2015, we decided to go play this chippy game. Kick it around the back, pass position, try and be like a Hawthorn. Couldn't do it. 2016, we went down the line. Couldn't do that game because we had big enough bodies around the midfield to play that possession stoppage football. 2017, we did the lock-in football where we had repeat 50s but couldn't kick goals because our forward, Charlie Dixon, can't kick. 2018, did the same thing. 2019, did the same thing. 2020, last year, we had speed, we had dash, we were exciting, we had overlap, we were ferocious, we had the lock-in, we had everything going on for us. 2021 should have been our year. We pick up a Razia Fantasia and a Lear across the halfback and our forward line. We have the stand rule where you're not allowed to move until you get called play on. So can someone explain to me from Port Adelaide, why have we decided to go for this possession coming off the half-back line and not playing through the centre anymore? It does my head in as a Port Adelaide person to think when our team is right there, we change our game plan 100%. And this year should have been our year.
My other concern is you've got Boak, who's not getting any younger.
No.
You've got Wines as well.
He's playing career best football this season.
Okay.
Robbie Gray, he's not getting any
you
younger.
love him, but yeah, Robbie Gray's not getting any younger. Jonas, how old's Jonas?
Oh, he's probably only 28, 29.
So
Another few seasons.
Maybe, yeah. You got Rosie.
Yep.
And you got the other two.
Butters, Dersma.
But they're not there for a while.
No, definitely.
Your midfield, I thought, was okay. Outside of Boak and... If those two don't fire, Boak and Wines, they're not standing for anything, that midfield. Where's Jarman Impey gone?
No, he plays for Hawthorn now. But we have got...
Carl Amon, sorry. Carl Amon. Apologies, I take that back. I got that wrong.
Hey, it's okay. Carl Amon, yep, once again, he's a good player, good kick, but just needs support. I'm not willing to write the season off just yet for Port Adelaide, but my God, they have been exposed this season by a couple of good teams, exposing all the faults in our game. And a key to that, I believe, is our unstructured forward line. And
you know what? This is going to be a challenge this week. 3:20 this weekend at the MCG versus Collingwood.
Oh,
geez, you wouldn't want to drop that one, mate.
Oh, don't even. I'm going with my wife because she's a big Collingwood supporter.
Oh, geez.
So
we might be visiting Judge Judy in divorce court.
Peps,
if that goes the wrong way.
If we lose the game, you could hear me swearing from your house.
It's okay. There's always a spare room, mate. You can just plonk at my joint for the night. We'll lend you a couple of wins.
Oh, all right. God. So anyway, that's Port of my one there.
Yep.
Because I reckon you're correct. Flat track bullies, that tag absolutely stands for this team at the moment.
All right. Who's your two?
Number 2, standard, Teague, Carlton. Like, WTF. Come on, Teague. Just stop being so nice. Stop looking at the positives of the club. This club is going nowhere. If you don't get your act together soon, within the next, 6 months, 7 months, that's lights out.
I can tell you now, mate. I can tell you now, looking at them live on the weekend, they were not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. But they are about where Melbourne, probably the Bulldogs were 3 years ago. Like, they just don't have a cohesive unit all coming through together. Charlie Curnow's not there at the moment. Like, apparently he's going to be playing his first game potentially in the next couple of weeks. He's been gone for 2 years. He could have been anything. They miss him so much. If they had Curnow and Mackay up forward,
Yeah.
but you're relying on Batman down there. You've got Wiedering who plays well. Jones holds his end up. The spine is actually not too bad. Walsh there, Cripps there as well too.
There, the pieces are there.
Curnow to tag if need be, but they're just lacking that bottom six players that other clubs have got them at the moment. The Doggies got their bottom six. Melbourne have got their bottom six. Richmond have had their bottom six for quite a number of years.
What's
don't have-
concerning?
and that's
what's
where they
concerning,
fall
Peps,
away.
is some of these guys now could be getting to that point in their career where they go,
Stuff it.
maybe my future isn't here at this club anymore.
Well, not if they're going to be buying Sard for $650 and the other dude for $800. Like, tell me they haven't been mistakes.
Yeah.
When Nick Hind is dominating at Eston for probably half the amount of cash.
Oh, that's Jesus! That was a
Essendon are
bad
just
one.
going. Exactly right.
And
What's your
number
three,
3
mate?
for
What's
me.
your 3 votes? Who's
Number 3
getting
for me.
dragged?
It's just the media. That whole Carlton beat up. The whole De Goey beat up. That just took up way too much airtime.
But there's too many beat ups at the moment. They've got nothing to report on.
Yeah.
It's just a farce.
I had the
It's just
media
a farce.
slash umpires because there was just an absolute disgraceful display over the weekend. I'm going to talk specifically the Port game, but across your game, when you said Fritsch got basically flipped and dumped. But we can't talk about umpires because we're there forever.
Can I just throw in? I want to just quickly throw in one more.
Sure.
One more.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm looking down the camera when I say this. To the complete F-wit who punched the bloke at the Port Adelaide game. Yeah, he did deserve it, but seeing violence like that at our football, at our great game, is not warranted. All right. Unfortunately, there's too many dickheads who can't control what they put in their mouth at games, and it leads to crap like that. Leave that to other codes. Leave that to the Northern codes. Leave that to the round ball codes. We don't need any of that. All right. So if you're going to act like a dickhead at the footy, piss off. We don't want you there, because I've got kids I take to the footy. You've got kids we take to the footy. My wife goes to the footy sometimes, and they don't need to be exposed to juvenile behaviour like that. So that's pathetic. And if I had my time again, I would have given you the 3 votes. But it's just, we just don't need that at the game. All right, it's just bullshit.
Peps, all I can say is that guy's lucky that the other fellow he hit fell backwards because he took a few hits in his jaw and
Well, he freaking deserved it by being a dickhead and going hit me. Don't go asking to be hit. You'll get hit.
Also, quick one there that Jared has put up a really good one. We've completely skipped over this one here. The Tigers complaining about playing at Marvel.
You bunch of freaking whingers. You got 100,000 so-called members. 13,000 turned up to a home game at Marvel because we don't like going there. Probably because they don't allow pets in. That locks off about 70,000 of your members. I hate going here. This club was on its knees. Save our skin, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
You've had the best run of home games at the G for goodness knows how many years.
And it's still at home.
We don't give
Melbourne.
a shit. Swallow your pride. The game is bigger than you, Richmond. You'll find out soon enough.
And the connections works perfectly. The train station's right there. It's so
right
easy.
there, you soft cocks. Soft cocks. Weak. Sorry, you're weak.
That made me laugh.
But then Brendan Gale says it like, mate, who do you think you are? You think that you're Liverpool. You think you're Man City.
So
you think, next minute they want to wear prison bar jumpers. That's how entitled they think they are. Hey, buddy. Rightio. So, before we sort of move into the fourth quarter back end of the game, quick thing that we need to have a look at is the ladder for the week, because we haven't had a chat. There's been a bit of a change on it. So let's just have a quick look at the ladder for this week. Rightio. So the D's are still on top of the ladder. There we are. We've also got the Western Melbourne unbeaten, 144%. Western Bulldogs a game behind, and those two teams are two games clear of the Cats, the Lions, Port Adelaide, Swans, and West Coast, with Richmond after their stealing defeat from the jaws of victory, GWS on the weekend pushes themselves into the 8. GWS is sitting there on 16, same as Fremantle and St Kilda. And you can pretty much ride off anybody else after that. Essendon, they're too far back. Carlton are too far back. Gold Coast let you down every week. Adelaide a poo. Collingwood a poo. Hawthorn a poo. North Melbourne are really, really poo. But they won last week, so they're not poo this week. So I reckon, I think the top 8's settled, mate. I think the top 8 is settled. And I didn't think going what we are now that would actually occur. I'm massively surprised about that. I don't know what the viewers think, but I actually think that there's not going to be a change from now on. It's just going to be who sits where.
Yep, I think you're right.
All righty.
That's done.
Yeah, exactly right. So there's your final 8. We can just start talking finals next week as well too.
Start talking about the first week of finals, you reckon?
First week of finals, start and talk next week. All right, listener question, mate. What's your listener question for this week and last week as well?
Last listener question. Now, look, I'm going to apologise.
It was the worst. It was the worst question ever.
Peps,
I don't even.
It's a live show. It's a live show. Sometimes you get caught up and you just go with something because you're preparing. And I went with it anyway. So, the question last week was: is cereal soup? Why or why not? Now we had some comments on there, which is great to see. Nicholas Wolfric Nick Teal said, no, noun soup, plural nouns, soups, a liquid dish typically savoury and made by boiling meat, fish, vegetables or stock in water. Milk is not stock nor water. So, there we go. That's Nick's opinion. We also had another one here. Corey Vandertuck said, I don't mind a bit of Fruit Loop soup. Then we had Luke Thomas say, my 4 wheat bix in milk and honey resembles porridge sometimes. Definitely not soup though. And then Jared has gone, is soup a cereal?
Chris Pepper from Lace Out said, this is the stupidest question ever put on this podcast.
Joel Michael said,
it'll never come back again.
It's a soup. The definition says typically by boiling, typically means usually, but doesn't always mean always. Gazpacho isn't boiled, but it's a soup, so boiling thing loses its credibility. So take out that, and now it's a liquid dish. Cereal is a liquid dish. There we go.
Is this a physics podcast? Chemical engineers talking about soups and boiling viscosities, etc.
I'm just Peps. This is. It's good to see.
I love our listeners. I love our listeners, but come on, don't feed his ego, people. Right.
Okay.
I'm making an executive decision. We're going to park that one. If you want to read the rest,
I've got a new one.
All right. It better be, because if you don't get this right, you might have to have a week off, at least in question. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, because
Peps,
the J-Dog needs to lift.
If I'm having a week off my listener question, I'm taking my bat and going home. I'm not doing a show next week.
How's that any different?
All right. So this week's listener question is, what is your change-up drink? So when you're 8, 9, 10 drinks into your beers or whatever you're drinking, what's the drink that you go to change it up, to bring a bit of variety, a bit of spice into your night? Your taste buds need that bit of a switch.
You just need to go from primary to secondary school, you mean?
Just you need either it's to accelerate your night, or it's something to give your taste buds a bit of a break. Or look, you've got your own reasons. I'm not going to pry. But what is your change-up drink that you go for?
For the last chance dance at 4 a.m?
What is the best change-up drink? Now,
bourbon and Coke. Simple. Bourbon and Coke.
I just want to know what's it out there. What are we doing? We're doing rum. We're doing bourbons. We're doing whiskeys. We're doing gin.
Illusion shots.
Illusion shots. Is it Fireball? Is it straight up somethings?
Is it West Coast coolers?
It could be West Coast. It could be
UDL.
It could be a cider.
You might have a water. Drink responsibly.
There we go. What is your change-up drink? What is your go-to change-up drink?
That's not a bad one. I want to hear what people want to go with. Change-up drinks. I like a J-Dog.
Do you have no, don't answer the question, but do you have a change-up drink that you always just flick over to?
Me?
Don't answer the question. Is it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is.
Yes or no?
It's
You've got
yes
one?
or no.
No.
Well, I'm not going to respond to it. Oh, okay.
Okay.
You didn't listen when I said it.
There we go.
All right.
Dark and stormy.
Rightio. All right. Okay. This was something that was introduced last week for the first time. Got a pretty good response, so we're going with it again. So it is our new segment, 1 week at a time. J-Dog, what game are you looking forward to this week in round 10? What I'm looking forward to is going to be going with our tips on Thursday night with teams. Yes, we can actually give you an honest opinion of who's in, who's out.
Holy moly.
This week coming up. It is going to be the Ducks Nuts.
Football
Is back Thursday night footy, Thursday night teams.
Yes.
Oh, if that doesn't get you excited in the nether regions, nothing will. All right. So looking at to round 10, what game is getting you a little bit for this week, my friend?
Oh, this week. Let's just peruse what this week has. There's a couple in here. I'm going to have to say, though, for me, Essendon North.
That's okay. Interesting one, Essendon North. I didn't think you'd go with that.
Bit of a win last week to North and Essendon. Let's just see what's cooking down the bottom part of our ladder.
Well, I've got two games.
Mm-hmm.
Brisbane, Richmond on Friday night. Brisbane have been in super form. Richmond snuck a victory last week, going all the way, playing in an away game from the G, foreign territory. 7:50 is Friday night. That's going to be, I reckon, be a belter of a game. I reckon the Lions will get across that and get another win. I think they've won 5 out of their last 6. That'll make it another one. But I think the interesting one that I'm looking forward to is going to be 1:10 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, the Giants versus West Coast.
That was my second one.
Because which one is it going to be? Is it going to be the Giants come up and win and keep their finals chances intact? Or is West Coast going to have a win away from home? That's like, got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
So West Coast win away from home. They virtually lock their spot in finals.
Yeah.
GWS win, they're virtually back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very close. So I think that's the other one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And the Prison Bar battle on 3:20 p.m. MCG, J-Dog versus Alira.
I'm going to be so confused for the first half of the match. Who's playing? Who's who?
I won't have a clue. Someone should wear a white and black away jumper just to make it easier.
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay. So look, that's it, everybody. That's our show for the week. What a chock full. I'm going to have to go on the man shakes just to cut back a few of the kilos that we've put onto the show. So for everybody who's joined us tonight on the... Oh, yes.
Man shakes are freaking expensive. Have you seen the price of those?
I've got some.
Isn't it like $60 for like 4 meals or something?
No.
It's pretty expensive.
No, it's about $100 for 60 meals. Yeah, it's about $2 a meal. It's okay. They taste good. Yeah, they taste good.
Oh, there you go.
Like them. I've lost a couple of kgs around the waist. Yeah, look, I'm taut, mate. Look, I'm very taut. If you could hear me right now, if you could see me right now, you'd be going, geez, I tell you what, that body looks as good as his and sounds as hot as his voice. So have a great week, listeners. Once again, now competition time. It's as simple as this. I have a box, not just a packet, not just 5 packets. I'm talking a box of AFL Team Select football cards to give away to one lucky person. So I'll announce it. Listen to the podcast. I'll drop a small little episode about what you have to do, but it's very, very easy. Just like our page, comment on our page, drop it to a couple of people, subscribe to us on iTunes or Spotify, and it's as simple as that too. So we'll be running that for a couple of weeks. Get in, potential to win 36 packets. I'll say it again, 36 packets of AFL footy cards. So if you remember back in the days at school, playing flicked up against the wall, trading a Mickey Turner for your Robbie Flowers or your Diesel for your Craig Bradleys, we're going to be going back to footy card days. I love my footy card days. Getting a packet of 6 and a Scanlon's chewing gum. You're going to be able to relive that as well. So 36 packs of football cards, a full box we have ready to give to one lucky listener on the podcast. So stay tuned and good luck to those who enter as well too. So you can win a pack of cards. You can get yourself a new share in football as well too. 30% off, as Jamie would say.
Half price.
Half price. And more importantly, tune in Thursday night for our tips. Tipped out. It is going gangbusters this year, and we're actually getting some right, which is good. I wouldn't put your house on it just yet, but we're getting close. Put your house on that. The final 8 won't change. I guarantee that will happen. So that's it. Another great show, J-Dog. Thank you very much for being part of it. Like I said, you are my Timberlake. I am Lance Bass. And without you, no one can bring sexy back, and you bring it every single week. So, Jamie Wallis, thank you very much.
Thank you,
More
Peps.
importantly, the magic question. Everybody, say it with me. J-Dog, how do you love, how do you want, how do you need your footy?
Listeners, I like it lace out.
Listeners, get in a huddle, give a Jordan to Gropey, say good luck to your team, and hope your team wins on the weekend.
See you, listeners.
ODs. Thanks for listening to our latest episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on iTunes. I'm your host, Chris Pepper, and with Jamie Wallis, we give you your footy how you want it. Peace out.